Hello, YouTube. I'm here today to talk about my review of this book I just read called Hunt, Gather, Parent by, hopefully I'm saying this correctly, Michaeleen Douchleff. I just read this book yesterday and I wanted to give a bit of a review about it from the perspective of an educator, an early childhood educator, specifically in Montessori and Forest and Nature School, which is what I do. I really liked this book. It was a really interesting, there were some interesting insights that were presented. Some of them were not new to me, and some of them were really, some of them supported things that I'm already doing. Some of the insights were things that were brand new to me that I picked up. I really liked it. So the author basically traveled with her daughter to ancient cultures in Mexico, in northern Canada, in the Inuit cultures, and in Tanzania. So there were basically, she was getting advice from, as she claims, super parents or parents that have been using these ancient parenting techniques that have become completely lost to the Western society, and all of the parents are struggling with the children. What do we do? So this offers some really useful advice. I'm not a parent yet. I work with younger children between the ages of 3 to 6. Currently at a Montessori school. Before that, I was doing forest and nature schooling. So some of the things that were really interesting to me that, I don't know, kind of made me feel better about what I do and things that I follow, the philosophies I follow, were in this book. So the first thing that she talks about is the need to give children as much responsibility as possible. So, for example, if they're acting out and they are not listening, whatever, they need to be given more tasks. So instead of creating, like, we tend to create these like child-centered activities only for children, and we basically schedule our entire lives around our children. She's saying that they don't do this in these societies. They don't do these in these cultures. Kids are they're involved in the adult world. And I love that because so many of my friends, they don't have any time to hang out with me because of their kids, and I'm not saying that's bad. But I mean, if your personal life is on hold for 20 years, or just the amount of time that you need to raise your young children, I don't think that's good. I know some friends from all over the world, because I used to work abroad, and it's not like that in other countries. So my friend in France said that, parents bring their kids to the bar, and the kids are there, and, in my Danish family, the kids join them for nature walks and stuff on the weekends. They don't necessarily do just like kid things that parents don't even enjoy. So that was a really, really good point that she made. Schedule your life. She says, instead of having to schedule, pay for, and participate in endless child-centered activities, parents can lead their normal lives, working or relaxing, while kids follow along, learning as they go. Rather than scheduling your life around your child, you can simply put your child into your schedule. I love it. I love that. In terms of like forest school, I wouldn't say, forest school and Montessori, the ones that I've worked at, we kind of do focus on the children's, like, child-led learning, and now it kind of made me question that. Like, should the entire day just be all child-led? Like, what are their interests, and then the adults, like, follow? Perhaps we should be teaching them to have more responsibilities. Like, the adults need to start the fire. You're gonna help us. You're gonna bring that wood over here, or offer them to do, simple tasks like holding something or carrying something that would have to do with like preparing the snacks or like preparing lunch and things like that. I think that should become more part of the program. In terms of Montessori, if anyone teaches at Montessori watching this or sends their kids there, definitely like the materials are child-centered because they're there for them to practice doing practical life. So they are doing like skills that adults like are doing, but they're child sized so that the kids can do them. So it's making me think about that. Like, is that the best thing that we should be doing? Or should we be doing more activities with them where they're helping us do things, like the teachers? I'm not sure. If anyone wants to comment on that, it could be interesting to see how other people feel about that. Okay, the other takeaway that I had was, hold on, sense of autonomy. So she really specifically explained the difference between independence and autonomy, which was really helpful for me. I've always thought those are the same. So she says in this book that independence is when a child or a person is doing everything on their own and they're not working together with other people. They're not responsible to other people necessarily. They're kind of like the lone wolf. Versus autonomy, where you are doing things on your own, but you are still responsible to other people. So if someone then asks you to come help out with a task, you would go and do that. So it's not like completely on your own. You're gaining autonomy through a togetherness feeling. And I love that, because in our Western society, we focus too much on individuality, and so we lack like a sense of community and then collaboration and collectivity and stuff, I find here, compared to Korea, where I used to live, and other places I've lived where there is way more a sense of community and togetherness, and that you have a responsibility to other people. That is another takeaway that I had that I find really important. So in terms of teaching at Montessori, like, the kids are doing their own tasks, but at the same time, I really like at Montessori they do that, where there's mixed age groups. So like the older kids, their responsibility is to help the younger kids. So having those mixed age classrooms can be really great. So if you like what she said in this book about mixed age groups and like giving responsibilities to the older kids and the sense of autonomy, I would look into Montessori, because they do focus a lot on that. Like, you have to help the other kids. So it's like peer teaching rather than, the guide to the students. Like, there's a lot of focus on peer teaching between the children. And the third takeaway I wanted to discuss, last but not least, about this book is her Never in Anger chapter, that she explains how Inuit parents are with the children and how they completely stay calm in all situations. Even she gives an example of a woman going into child labor, and she's doing like cooking beforehand, and then she falls asleep, and then suddenly she wakes up and this baby's like being born, which I couldn't even believe that at the beginning, but I guess that can happen if your equanimity is so strong. So the idea is that obviously we need to teach emotional regulation to children. Like, Western cultures, she specifically states, we think that children should have these skills when they're 3 and 4, but they don't. And these other cultures totally understand that, these kids are not ready to learn this, and they don't have an ability to control themselves. Their emotions are all over the place. So instead of like expecting those things, we have to really show them how to control their emotions. So anger is never shown. It's like they're very calm. If something happens, like a coffee is spilled, they're not getting angry like, oh, clean it up, or blaming someone. They're just very calm, like, oh, the coffee was you put that in the wrong place. And they just like avert the anger to something else and then just calmly clean it up. So it goes to the kids become calm, and then their society learns how to be calm, equanimous, and chill. And that's what I have here. I really look at this every day and try to always stay really calm. And that's another area that I do think Montessori focuses on more, is like keeping the class quiet and like trying to be calm in the classroom. And if you're calm as a parent and as a teacher, it just goes to the kids, because they pick up more on our emotions rather than what we say to them. So your state of calmness will go to the children. So I really liked those. Those were my main takeaways. I really enjoyed it. If you have a chance to read this, Hunt, Gather, Parent, I really highly recommend it. And I look forward to reading any comments that people put on the bottom. Again, if you'd like to follow any of my work, it's on Teachers Pay Teachers. I have a Montessori outdoors curriculum there, and my website is joiedevivrefns.com, my forest and nature school, that you can check out my blogs and things there, where I review books and talk about different areas of forest and nature school and Montessori education. That's my review. Thanks for watching. Bye.